Hey everybody, and welcome! We are playing some more Forward into the Stars, and things have come along. I do want to apologize, as usual. I'm always like, hey, I'm going to put a video out soon, and then it ends up later than usual. And this is no exception. I've just got a million things going on, not just in real life, but even with the game. So it's been kind of tough. Also want to welcome you guys to the new channel, because this is where all the new videos are going to be. So yeah, if you're not already subscribed to this channel, make sure you do so you can keep up to date with Forward into the Stars developments. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some stuff to do. Oh, yeah, the other thing is format. I'm going to try to make these videos smaller. This one might be still kind of long because I've done a lot, but I'm kind of hoping in the future that I can just sort of play around a little bit, do a feature here and there, and then do quick videos and post those. So hopefully that new format will be a little bit easier to digest. Other than that, let's step into it. So what's been going on? Well, things might look a little prettier, I think, since last video. I'm forever tweaking the visualizations, the post-processing and stuff to just kind of get it a little bit more solid. I'm really happy with the final visuals. I don't think the bloom overdoes. It's pretty clear that there's a shiny spot right there, and I think that's just enough. Everything else kind of is rather subtle and still gives the impression of sunlight and everything, so that's kind of nice. But those are definitely not the major features. The major features right now is I have basically fixed the game, more or less. There's still some things to get through, but originally a while back ago I had space trading, combat, all those wonderful things, and then I switched everything over to the new spatial system, which turned out to be quite a headache to implement. But it did, well, in fact, I should say, it basically screwed up the entire trading system, and I think the patrol system was pretty jacked up too. But now, as you can see, we've actually got freighters going around doing things, and they are trading in an economy that is, it's not a faked economy. You know, a lot of space traders out there, especially the early ones, it would basically just be, stations have an infinite supply of things, and then after that, you know, you just go over there and try to buy low resources and sell high. Commodities would basically be fixed price. If you were lucky or unlucky, there would be game events that might alter those prices, you know, if there was like a famine or a boom or something like that. So all that kind of stuff was pretty standard, pretty fixed. This game's different. I don't like mentioning other games, but the games like the X series, X3, X Rebirth, X4, all those kinds of games, I tried to simulate an economy, much like they tried to simulate an economy. There are probably some definite differences between the two, but the point is that commodities in this game are a persistent item once created. So first thing, I mean, we can command our little freighter and move around and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun. But right now, well, eventually I'm going to have full-on control over trading, so you could actually just park this thing in front of a station, and there'd be a console or something that would allow you to do trading. As it stands, though, I was much more focused on getting the AI to do things. So this time around, we're just going to go here and select our Mariposa freighter, and if I click Phoenix Landing, that's actually going to issue an order to where this freighter will buy supplies from the station here, which is where we are. We're right now at Phoenix Landing, and it will try to find a seller, or a close by seller right now. I need to tweak that, but it'll try to find the closest seller and sell the goods over to that particular station. And it will continue to do that until the person it is selling to ends up over-exhausted with resources, and then this freighter will go and attempt to find another seller. The beauty is, I've been doing some work on this, and one of the problems with creating a dynamic economy is you either at some point end up where all stations are full to the brim with resources, or there are no resources left in the game universe. And honestly, in the past with my testing, that happened more frequently than I'd like to say. This time around, though, it seems like it's all working out pretty well. So, you know, again, there's resources have purpose in this. They're persistent. We just picked up some goods, so if I go over here to the cargo bay, you will see we have cargo, and if the cargo containers look different, that's because I revamped them. I went ahead and played with the models and the texturing and tried to make them look better, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. So Phoenix Landing basically is a food production facility, so we are going to start offloading food to places that need it. Probably we're going to go to Alliance because it's the closest place that buys food. Yeah, it looks that way. And if I press F2, you can now see us moving around in third person around planet Thebes. And this is pretty awesome. And remember, I was also talking about, and I'll probably focus a little bit more on this later, how I've been revamping the planets. And this is the revamp of Thebes, and it's pretty awesome. If you saw the last video introducing this video, you've probably already got a sneak peek of this, but we're going to try to go down and have a little fun there. Yes, you can fly into the planet. It's a little glitchy, but it does look pretty cool, and I do plan to iron things out. I can't guarantee space legs down on the planet, but my plan at least is to create ground colonies that you can land at, and you can at least walk around on the stations and colonies that are on the planets. And I'm also planning on having some form of combat system within the atmosphere. So, you know, there will be surface-to-air missile sites and things like that, which you may have to deal with in order to either take over a base or possibly even trade at a base or smuggle or something. I don't know. I haven't worked it all out yet, but it would not be that hard to create weapons platforms. So looking forward to that. All right, so here we go. We are docked at the parts and assembly plant at Alliance Gateway, and we've gone ahead and traded off some stuff. So if we go over here, I will now see, I started with 10,000 credits, I'm now at 15,000 credits. Ignore all the glitching, this needs a revamp too. A lot of revamps going on. And there you go, so yeah, our cargo bays are empty. Now in a perfect world, our ship would be smart enough to then buy goods at Alliance and go trade them somewhere else. Right now the AI is not that smart, but it probably wouldn't be too hard with the new behavior system to create a means for dealing with that. The way the behavior system basically can work is if you have cargo at your cargo bay, then it would basically try to find a station somewhere that is buying that cargo, and then your ship would just go and sell off said cargo. And then there's another behavior that goes, hey, is there nothing in my cargo bay? And if that's the case, then I can easily just say, wherever you are right now, find the nearest station that's selling and go pick up some cargo. And then the system kind of rinses and repeats. And so you would end up in an infinite loop where you're basically a giant space trader. And I would love to do that. Not to rag on X4, it's a game I actually very much enjoy playing, but it drives me mad that you need level 3 pilots, which are super hard to train, in order to get auto trading working. And I feel like it's really not that big of a deal. So that's probably something I will add from the get-go at stock. Yes, I just flew through an asteroid. Speaking of flying through asteroids, though, one of the things you will have noticed is that when I did go to Alliance, it used to be that I would first choose the easiest target. Like I would go, hey, let's go, you know, if Alliance was like right over here, my ship would point in that direction, and then it would notice the planet and it would arc and try to go around it. I've updated the collision detection, or not, I'm sorry, collision avoidance system, and now it does things a bit smarter. And I actually have some ideas that might make collision avoidance even smarter yet. So I'm very much hoping that ships don't smack into other ships too much. Here's hoping. Right now it's definitely a heck of a lot better than it ever was. So, all right, so we are now trading or buying more goodies, and I'm gonna let that go on ahead and happen. I know you guys are probably bored right now, so we're gonna have a little fun. So some other revamps have happened. You may also notice this kind of has a cockpit now. It's really terrible, but it's a start. I'm gonna be fleshing that out. I just was sick of flying in space and not having an actual cockpit around me, so I decided to build one for the dropships. And they look pretty good. I do have a texture issue with the cockpit right now on the outside, and yes, that is related to the interior cockpit issue. I'll get that all resolved. But I really like the ship. I'm really happy with how it turned out. This looks nice. But anyway, back to this. We are going to show off another feature, which I just kind of finished tightening up, and that's the new billboard system. And I'm pretty excited about this. Anybody who's played Privateer is probably familiar with, that's an old game too, so I'm harkening back to the old guys here, but they're probably familiar with what do they call it? It was like the mission board, basically. And essentially that's kind of what the billboard system is, with one addition, and it's a big addition, and that is it's more than just job postings, it's ship purchases, contacts, commodities, crew hiring, a directory, anything and everything I could potentially shove in here. And there's definitely room for even more of these if I so desired. So it's possible that the bulletin board can end up a one-stop shop for pilots. And this is fantastic because it does two things for me. First and foremost, if I'm allowing you to walk around, there needs to be a reason for that. So this gets you off your ship and into the station so that you can actually interact with stations and start manipulating them in ways. And it also centralizes all the things that you should be able to do on a station, because as much as it would be really cool to have a bunch of billions of different little places that you can go to and things you have to do, I see that being tedious. If you have to do 5 things on a station and all 5 of those things are on different parts of the station, that's going to get really frustrating fast. So I'm right now considering just kind of keeping everything more or less a one-stop shop. Now, should you be able to walk around the station? Should there be reasons to walk around the station? Yes, absolutely. And I want that. What I'm thinking, though, is those would be for special purpose type situations. So, for instance, you take on a mission and you're supposed to find a person and talk to them. That person may be anywhere on the ship, so you can go find them that way. And yes, I'm even considering armed combat in stations as well. So it could be that you have to go in and, take out a gang or something that are on a station, or even take over the station itself, in which case you'll be all over every nook and cranny of the station fighting bad guys. So all that'll probably end up an option. But one of the cool things here, which I've probably actually just wrecked, come to think of it, we'll see what we can do. If we can't, we'll come back and do this. No, we're good. Is we can go to contacts here. And here's this. I'm going to have you guys read it fast because my freighter's going to do some really bad stuff and deplete all my money. But essentially, this is what we would call I guess it's like a pilot hiring system. So it sort of works kind of like a ship purchase, but this could be a potentially more specialized thing. And in fact, it is. There is a ship floating around here somewhere. I'm so going to hate myself for doing that. But whatever. Yeah, where are you? Well, I'm going to go ahead and take it, but there it is. See that big ship? It's neutral right now. But if I fly over here real quick before my freighter gets here and messes this up, boom. Now I just purchased it. And there we go. So now you can see that ship is now on my team. You'll notice it was 5,000 credits. That's because I am building the game and I can make it as cheap as I want. Obviously, in final game, doing something this amazing would be incredibly expensive. In fact, the ship we're about to go to right now probably won't even be in game first off, but its replacement will likely not even be a purchasable ship. It will be something you have to discover. But for now, we're playing around, we're having fun, and let's go land on a really big experimental cruiser. How's that sound? That sounds pretty good, right? So this is not my model. Most everything in this game I hand modeled myself. I hand textured. Pretty much everything that you see here is mine. However, these are not. There's the experimental experimental cruiser, and the destroyer models, both of which I honestly bought on Turbo Squid. I really just wanted to see what a really professionally done, finished model would look like in my game, and I'm super excited about it. So I'll let you guys look at it more here. There we go. So we're back on the bridge, and yes, I'm just reusing this is the cruiser bridge. But anyway, I'm sure you guys really want to have a look at it. This thing is a beauty. It's a ton of fun to fly around, and even though I may not be able to keep this particular model, it gives me an idea as to the quality of ships and how things are going to look when this thing is finally ended. You can tell the quality right out. You can see the fin rear. I made the fin rear. I'm very proud of the fin rear, but boy does it need some tweaking. You put that next to this cruiser model, and it's almost a night and day difference of quality. So definitely have some learning to do, if I have to be honest. But I also just have some more work to do. I'm very, very happy with the fin rear's ultimate design, but I need to sit down and spend a couple days just getting it figured out, textured properly, and I think I'll have some pretty cool stuff. But you guys saw the Cecropia dropship we were just flying. I made that too. I also made the Scythe Fighter. I'm very proud of those, how they turned out, so I think I have it in me. I think I can build the quality necessary for the game. But it was nice to just get some quick and dirty models to play with initially. So, alrighty, we can have some fun with this, I think. Things are still in testing. Things seem to be working okay, but every now and again, I do run into a problem here and there. So first and foremost, one of the things that we can do is we have a bunch of fighters. Well, actually, we don't have a bunch of fighters. Oh, yes, we do. I know what happened. Okay, never mind. I have a problem. I have a group of ships. Oh, it looks like we're still running AI routines. Okay, have fun. So here's what happened. And this is something that's a problem. We basically started with 2 ships, and then we basically batch bought a whole bunch of other ships. So when we bought the experimental freighter, we didn't just get the freighter, we got all of its fighter complement that comes with it. The problem is my Cecropia dropship that was flying around is now embedded with a bunch of scythe fighters, and that is really bad because the scythe fighters are a very good combat ship, but the Cecropia, not so much. If that starts engaging enemies directly, it's likely going to get itself killed immediately. So, how do I get these two parted? And the answer is I have introduced a new system. I want to press a button real quick and see if hey, it works. Okay, cool. So we have a new system now, and this is basically the asset manager. This is actually going to change quite a lot as things go on, because I really want to structure this into fleets, hierarchies, groupings, and things like that. But for now, this does the trick. This will only work for up to like 20 ships, and I'm pretty sure the player's going to get mad at me if I only allow them 20 ships. So that's why I'm going to have to do like a digging down sort of feature. So I think I estimated you could at least get up to 100 ships through this system, and I think that should be ample for players to mess with, but may get more, we'll see. But anyway, so the problem is this Cecropia dropship, if you look at it, it's over here next to the highlighted 1. You'll see that 2. That tells me it's in group 2, and that's no good. What I really want is this to be in the same group as my other dropships, and here they are. So they're in group 4. So all I really need to do is go back to my Cecropia dropship and then just simply go to 4, click, and there we go. So now if I go to this, you'll see I have 3 Cecropia dropships in this group now, and my scythe fighters are no longer impeded by that. And grouping, you can group them however you want. You'll notice I have 2 sets of scythe fighters. I like to kind of keep them as scouts. So it comes in kind of useful if there are multiple drop-ins and I want to see what they are, because I don't want to get ambushed or something. Having 2 sets of scythe fighters rather than 1 means that I can send 2 sets in different directions, and that does come in handy. It does mean you have to be careful, because if you send them both off in 2 different directions and then you get jumped, you're only half as useful in combat. So everything about this game is give and take. It's trying to figure out what's going on, learning the enemy, and making the best decisions you possibly can, given in imperfect circumstances, we'll say. And I think that's really the fun of the game, is the adaptation that'll be involved in it. So anyway, we have ourselves a really nice ship. I think I went ahead and maybe I didn't, but I've got a new... Oh, that's right. That doesn't quite work. Well, this works fine enough. But anyway, so what I can do is tell my guys to dock here. And you'll also notice that there's well, there isn't now. Hold on. There we go. So we've got a return to base thing. Usually what will pop up if I have something targeted, it's not going to work here, but say this was mine. If I targeted that and then I click the scythe, this would pop up with a little flag, and that would allow me to take whatever groups I have selected and make that their home base. So whenever I issue the home order, they will just automatically return to that. And the entire command system that I'm dealing with here is behavior-based, not action-based, which is awesome. That means that essentially what you're saying is, based off of certain environmental conditions, I can have ships react based off the behaviors that I give them. Effectively, all I'm doing in this case is giving them a list of behaviors at a target, and then it basically says, okay, if circumstances are right, and they usually should be for dealing with that particular target in a certain way, then that's how I'm supposed to do it. In other words, a good example of this would be like, hey, I want you to blow up that thing over there. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will blindly attack that until, it realizes it's outgunned and then die. The behavior system allows it to go, hey, I'm getting my butt kicked. Maybe I should retreat, go to base, or go try to heal or something like that, so you don't have to babysit your ships and have to worry about, I kind of messed up and now all my ships are dead because I made a stupid decision. You're likely going to lose some of your ships. They won't all escape, but it'll still mitigate some of the damage of a poor mistake. So I'm trying to not handhold the player, but also handhold the player a little bit, because no AI I've ever worked with has ever been perfect. So I don't really want to punish the player for the inadequacies of the game AI. So that's sort of the fallback with behaviors is under certain circumstances, I can make them change their behavior or the way they deal with things so that they can better optimize their influence on the situation. I guess that's the best way to put it. But all right, too much talking. Let's do some fun stuff. All right. In fact, I think I'm about to end this video too. Oh, no, I'm not, because I promised you guys we would go down to the planet a little bit. So I will showcase some of that. But as it were, let's finally do something exciting. And since I'm in a development mode right now, and sorry about your luck, you two freighters, because this is probably not going to go well for you. If I press F9, I can cause bad guys to spawn. And you will now see the fantastic looking... oh, good, this works great. Come on, there we go. Yeah, I have modified the weapon systems a lot, which is really awesome. Or the gunfire and stuff like that. So, yeah, basically, this is looking a lot better, and I'm really excited about it. Did we kill it, or is it still coming? Why is it doing this to me? Come on. Why are you crashing into me? Am I? Oh, I'm doing that. I'm dumb. Okay, well. And I'm pressing all the wrong buttons, too. Lol. Okay. I hope we win this, because, yes, we won it. Okay, cool. Oh, but we aren't done yet. Alright, but that's fine. We've got a lot of bad. We can fire missiles at them, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, maybe we can't. Yeah, looks like I'm out of missiles. Oh, there they go. Okay, we got them. And then... Oh, I'm always doing that. Is it this one? Okay, it's right. Yeah, I wrote all this. I've not really used the gamepad too much. I set the bindings up. But that's pretty much been it. Okay, there we go. So we took a little bit of damage. If you look down here, there's definitely some damage taken. But ultimately, I think we did pretty well in that little combat situation. I wanted to launch fighters, but I didn't expect the ship to jump out at me quite so fast. Let's see, we're not even on fire, so pretty good situation. I would call that a win. But if I did want to, I could, for instance... Well, you know what? Let's just do this. I can cause... Oh, that's interesting. I wonder how those took damage. Huh. I may have to look into that. Anyway, I can cause ships to launch from the bays and go into an escort formation for me, which is pretty cool. And they will follow me around. Come on, guys. Okay. And I'm sure you guys have seen fighter mechanics a little bit in the past. But one of the reasons I'm doing this is also because it used to be that fighters sort of cheated their way into docking and such, and that's no longer the case. You know, my Cicropias are kind of beat up, so let's go ahead... Actually, they're really beat up. Let's go ahead and dock those at the station. They can actually repair there, which is pretty handy. Yep, there they go. I can also press F12, and you guys can just sort of see things happening. Yeah, that one's really jacked up. It's just shooting black smoke everywhere. Once he gets inside, which should be pretty soon. Okay, there we go. So yeah, he'll get himself repaired. All right. So, but what else we can do here is if I do docking here, you'll notice that the ships are actually going to. Oh, it's different color mode. That's kind of cool. They recently switched their faction, so they actually have a different color mode. Nifty. They're using the independent colors right now. Nice. But anyway, you'll see, yeah, that they're actually going to go towards the docking bay, which, by the way, I made that the docking bay. I'm not sure that's what that was actually supposed to be. Looks more like a repair station, but it was the closest thing I had. So, but yeah, you'll see they actually move towards the docking bay. So it's not just get close to ship and you've docked sort of a thing. It's the docking ports are actually now physical, interactable things in the universe, and that's how they work too. You probably kind of saw me do that on this. Well, actually, no, I guess you wouldn't have on the station. So if I take the Scythe Fighter, which, by the way, gosh, I love these things. Not the best paint job for it. I think there's some better paint jobs, but still, it's not a half bad looking fighter. Could use a little love though. I will work on that. But anyway, yeah, so I can go ahead and dock on this thing in the exact same way. So essentially what I'm getting at is the way that I dock on a ship is also the way that the AI docks on a ship. There's no sleight of hand here, with the exception of out of system type deals. I'm probably going to crash, but that's okay. I'll just bump. Point. Whoa, okay, that happened. Guess I have to fiddle with the colliders a little bit too. So let's, you know what, that was terrible. Let's do this right. Oh, yep. somebody got beat up, now he's repairing. That's actually an example of behavior, because he was told that he needs to basically just do supply shipping like I told my freighter to do. That's what he's doing. But since he took damage, he prioritized that higher than doing the trading, so he decided to go over and dock instead. And that's exactly how all the behavior systems work in this game. Even when you issue orders, that's how it works. Now, with the order system, I expect that ships should probably do what you tell them to above all else, but it does leave the option for allowing ships to do different things under certain circumstances, which can make the AI a lot smarter. So, alright, so there we go. This is actually a more fun ship anyway, because I love the Mariposa freighter. It's really cool, but you can't see out the front quite as much, which is a little unfortunate. So, but what we will do is a couple of things. I just want to fly around the planet a little bit. We will get to a sunset spot, which means kind of flying in the wrong direction, but whatever. We'll work it out. And I guess everything we're going to do today is going to be around Thebes, but I will tell you this. There's stuff going on as we speak in the rest of the solar system right now. A lot of these ships that are doing trades over here are actually from other trade stations throughout the sector. And that's another thing that I wanted to mention too. Originally, I just had 3 commodities set up, which was food, ore, and parts and assemblies. I've basically opened up the entire trade system now. There's a lot more to trade, including medical supplies, firearms, consumer goods. There's a few more items now on the market that are workable. In fact, there's also a little something called xenological materials, and I'm hoping those will be fun later on in the game. For now, though, we are going to jump into Rift Space, and we're going to do this around the planet. I'm getting some hiccups, and I'm trying to figure out what's causing this. I think I kind of know, but yeah, it's sort of driving me crazy. This is something I don't like about Unity, but I'm kind of stuck with it. So, oh well. But yeah, I do have the render system for the planet based off multi-threading. So if you have a multi-threading processor, and basically if you have anything even remotely modern, you do, or multi-processor, I should say, everything's multi-threaded, or yeah. But anyway, your computer should render the planets and do the destinations fairly smoothly when I'm done working on them, but this is probably the worst I've seen it. Some days it's like flawless, and other days not so much. I think as you play the game longer, it starts smoothing out because it's like it caches it or something. I really don't know what's happening under the hood beyond what I have control over. But anyway, so I think we'll basically make this our send-off. Look at that. I love that. That's so cool. And we'll go ahead and we'll have the other sites follow us, and we're going to go for a flight down into the planet real quick and just kind of have a look around. I hope I'm not shooting out too much smoke. No, okay, that's normal. Oh, that's a little... Nah, I think that's normal. Okay. I don't like the smoke patterns on the engines. I'm going to change those. But that's definitely normal engine fire, so we're good. Yeah, if there's a big billowy smoke, that'd be a problem, and I should probably dock and get that looked at, but we're good. But yeah, I mean, just look at this. Like, it's coming along pretty well. I'm proud of how this is turning out, considering basically I'm a one-man show for this. Planet Technology is all homebrew. This is actually me and a friend a long time ago had a... Well, what were we doing? We were building a terrain, I remember. And one day, he said to me, hey, you know what would be really cool is if we could do an entire planet. And I straight up told him, nah, that's impossible. It can't happen. And that night, I laid awake the entire night, or most of the night at least, figuring out how I would accomplish that. And the very next day, I started working on a terrain engine, which was for a different game engine, but it was basically based off the exact same principles that this terrain's working off of right now. And it works pretty well. I'm very satisfied with how this has been turning out. A little bit of issues here and there with it. There are certain spots on the planet. In fact, that might be part of the problem why things get chunky. Certain spots on the planet where it seems to over decimate, and I think I know why that's happening. It's kind of a mathematical issue, so I got to find a way around that. But for the most part, it seems to do a pretty good job of building these things out. I love it. So we'll go fly a little bit down, kind of just look at the vistas, and then we'll probably end up heading back. Actually, I'll probably just kill the video. You guys don't need to see me dock. So, woohoo. Hey, you know what? While we're down here and you guys are looking at the cool terrain, I did modify the support fighters. So Cecropia's, you can't see it yet, but it'll be implemented. But right now, Scythes have it pretty well fully implemented. If I look over here now, we've got a couple new things. It shows you first and foremost what gun you have, or what weapons you have. You also have ammunition now, and you also have fuel. Those things are replenishable. I just finished doing the economy system, so I didn't have time to implement this. But one of the new commodities I've added is hydrogen, and so you'll be able to create hydrogen mines in some areas. And hydrogen will likely be used as a fuel supply for like rocket-based engines and things like that. And yeah, so basically how that'll probably end up working is you will gain supply on one of your big ships, like our experimental cruiser, which will eventually have cargo bays themselves. And you'll just shove various cargo things in there, and then if you need to like batch resupply a bunch of fighters or something like that, you press a button, it consumes the hydrogen, and boom, all of your all of your ships are refueled and good to go. And there's probably going to be ammunition crates, which will work pretty much the same way. Anytime you need to replenish, you just consume an ammunition and you're good to go. And that's kind of how I want the game to play out. Is I want the commodities to actually have purpose in it. It's not just like buy low, sell high. But as you can tell, there's dependencies on things. Wow, this is really weird. I gotta figure out what's going on with this. Huh. That is really strange. Well, this wasn't supposed to be a bug hunt, but I guess I got my work cut out for me. That was really weird. You know what? I think I know what caused that. Okay, cool. So semi-bug hunt. We found a bug. I think I know how to fix it. I just modified the hierarchy of certain things, and I wonder if this has a wrong binding, like it's bound to an old object or something, and so it's freaking out for some reason. But pretty sure I can fix that. I'm pretty sure that's not too hard to do. So hopefully next video I do, terrains will not be jittering like this. This is really strange. It's really unfortunate too, because I actually had these things completely fixed. They were really fun to fly over, no problems whatsoever. And then I did a whole bunch of restructuring and didn't bother to check the terrain to see if I affected it in any way, and apparently I did. So what a bummer. Okay, well, maybe next video I'll do some more on the terrain or something, and we'll just do a complete terrain only fly through and just kind of see how that works out. So I would like to kind of get some I don't know, some detail objects and stuff on the ground. I think that would be really fun. And of course, if you guys remember seeing my Solar Conquest, I reference that every now and again. Actually, I never implemented those in that. But anyways, I was going to throw down some colonies and stuff like that you could actually go to. I actually had little vehicles that you could command around the ground, and the dropships would come down, put the vehicles down, and then you could command the vehicles to go do things. Yeah, that was kind of fun because it had a little ground combat aspect to it. So I would love to see something like that in this game. So we'll see what happens. Also, if the cars were drivable, I think that would be pretty awesome as well. And yes, that would technically mean a possibility of having, being able to walk around on the planets. But seriously, don't get your hopes up. I am not sure how that's going to play out, and I'm really concerned about it. But anyway, I guess as we're flying into the sunset here, this feels like deja vu. I think I flew into the sunset for the last video I did a terrain for. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I've definitely got a lot more to do. Once again, remember that if you want to keep up to date with this game, definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. I am planning on posting a bit more consistently than usual, and the goal for that is basically just to do micro features and fixes, quick little bug hunts, quick little feature updates, shake and bakes, things like that. And yeah, I think that'll be the new process. That's the goal, at least. So again, thank you guys so much for this. Blood, sweat, and tears. I would like to get a playable demo at some point, but we're getting pretty close. I think we're getting pretty close. Things are starting to get pretty solid. So until then, though, I'll see you guys in the next one, and have fun.